What is up, Philadelphia, and welcome to a very special off-season check-in edition of the Cheap Seats. I hope you're enjoying your championship, Super Bowl, off-season, kind of soaking in all that glory and remembering the season that was. But we are on the precipice of this season that is. Of course, we've got to turn the page and look forward to the 2025 Eagles. But while we're all basking in our like little hiatus, our little championship hiatus, there's a lot that's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles since they last saw us, right? Post-parade, and then today. And we're about to hit my least favorite time of year in the football calendar, which is the doldrums of the summer. June, July, there ain't shit going on. So while we had a minute, while all these little things in the offseason were going, Black Gritty, Jason Ashworth, they texted me and they said, hey, boys, let's get back in the studio and just do kind of like an off-season recap, see where we're at, where our heads are at. And Jason Ashworth, how are you, my friend? How was your Memorial Day weekend?
Uneventful. Good.
Okay.
Uneventful, right? That's okay, though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same pattern that you are, the same mindset of you are. It's just the doldrums right now. There's not much going on. Now, luckily for me, I mean, I'm a baseball fan. I'm an NBA fan. So there's things going on that I can get into.
That's why I specified the football season.
Fair. No, but you're right. But I mean, it's the perfect opportunity to regroup, to take a look at what's coming up here on the docket as we get into the officially summertime. Start getting mini camp.
Yep.
We'll approach training camp. Right. So for me, I mean, it's just an opportunity to get together, talk some shop again. Looking forward to it.
Black Gritty, my friend, how you been, buddy?
Aaron Rodgers has not reported the OTAs today for the Philadelphia
Don't tell
Eagles.
Joy Taylor that.
Oh.
He has not joined OTAs. Gosh, Bryce Huff did not join OTAs.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I mean, I care.
Do you?
I've spent $57 million for a paperweight. And I'm like, at this point, I mean, that's the only part of how he sees this is that a problem. It's actually not a problem. It's one of those things where there's going to be a lot of changes. A lot of these young guys are going to rise to the crop. A lot of guys that were backups, people are already slotting in Sidney Brown, Ringo here. And I'm like, do you not understand who the defensive coordinator is? You said boring. It's an exciting time. OTA is exciting. You better show up and show out early. Because on defense, Grandpa McGree is not playing around.
Nope.
He'll replace you with a dude off the street if he's better than you. And Howie said, you know what? I'm out of it. There was a time when Howie be like, hey, I drafted this guy first round. He's got to play. Yeah. Howie's like, Howie stepped back and let this guy do what he got to do. So this is an exciting time for these young guys. You're either going to be a backup for life,
right,
or you're going to rise to the crop and become a starter. And you better hold that spot because they done loaded up the chamber with so many guys. We drafted like 42 people. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. And the Phillies are winning the World Series. So, I mean, there's all that. Bryce Harper retaliation day. I mean, I'm just trying to live the life
there was a heated argument to plunk or not to plunk before the show. So I know you were pro plunk.
How many times did I hit you before you get mad? How many times did you let me get away with hitting you before you get mad?
Intentionally or unintentionally?
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't matter.
If you accidentally hit me, it's like, oh, that happens. But if you hit me on purpose,
I'm big. I can accidentally hit a lot of people a lot of times. At some point, you're not going to retaliate. At some point, you're going to, hey, fatso, get your feet straight. You know what I mean? Stop stumbling into me.
Well, so speaking of getting hit, I feel like the league collectively got hit on news that got passed down last week. And it was the gift that kept on giving. It was the Tush Push debate, the Tush Push ban, the Tush Push pro, the Tush Push meeting, the Tush Push re-meeting, the Tush Push, are they ever going to get rid of this thing? And first and foremost, I just got to say, I don't give a damn about this play. I genuinely don't. Is it advantageous for the Eagles? Absolutely. Do I think they can pull off the sneak without having the push with that big of an offensive line and Jalen being able to squat what he can squat? And the quarterback sneak for the Philadelphia Eagles historically was always successful, even under Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. Why was it? Because those dudes up front in the trenches. So I don't think the Tush push was ultimately the key factor in the Philadelphia Eagles' success or the key factor in the Philadelphia Eagles' run. Nor do I really give a goddamn about this play. I really don't. I'm almost sick of hearing about it and sick of talking about it. However, when there is an opportunity for the city of Philadelphia, for the organization of the Philadelphia Eagles, to stand up in front of the league and flash 2 middle fingers, one with each ring on it, that was like satisfying to my soul.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, I don't really care about the play, but I do. Yeah, I do, because it's innately Philadelphia. And I don't like to look a gift horse in the mouth. It's a successful play for them that, in essence, gives. I mean, they got 4 downs every time down. They got 4 opportunities to pick up 10 yards, and that play, while it does not define them, has been a big part of that.
Right.
But I'm with you in terms of, I've said it before, I hope they ban the play. I hope they ban the play, because I don't believe that the tush push doesn't define the Eagles. It's the mentality behind the tush push that defines the Eagles. So you want to take that play away? That's fine. Go for it. Because to me, that's not their success. That doesn't define who they are as a team. Now, they've been a benefactor of it because they're built a certain way, but it's that mentality, those dogs up front, that battle over 3 feet of turf, 1 yard of dirt. Who wants it more? And time again, the Philadelphia Eagles have shown that they've won it. They've wanted it more. And it's been kind of described or defined as, quote unquote, the tush push. So for me, I'm tired of talking about it. I really am. I am glad that they were able to throw up those 2 fingers to the rest of the league, at least for 1 more year. But I really am tired of talking about it, because it's more than a play. It's a mentality for me. And that's what defines this team, not some cute little play we call the tush push.
I care. I care all the time. I don't talk about it as much as there's something to talk about. It's not getting banned. Every time somebody says it's getting banned, I tell them it's not getting banned. So talk to me after they vote on it, because it's not getting banned. One, the fugazi reasons that they try to ban it don't work. You tell me you care about player safety, then why are you trying to add an 18th game? Why are you doing all the practices and OTAs and minicamps, all the things you're doing, putting people in harm's way? Why are you flying people to Brazil if you care about player health and safety? You don't. So that's the first thing that's out of the way. The second thing, Nick Sirianni, my coach, the one thing that he has going for himself, when I have to listen to about the Sean McVays, is Sean McVay, the young lion, the youngest, smartest offensive coordinator. He's a genius. He's a genius. He's a genius. He's such a genius that Doofus McGoofus apparently has come up with one unstoppable play that nobody else can emulate, replicate, or do on a consistent basis. So Nick Sirianni doesn't have his own offense by all schemes and appearances, because he has different coordinators come in and certain things change, but certain things stay the same. But this is something that is his baby. This man that people call an idiot and a boob all the time when he goes up against anyone. Oh my God, the Packers. What's the guy's name?
Oh.
Coach the Packers.
It's the summertime.
Is that crazy? Can't think of a thing.
Matt
LaFleur. He's an offensive genius. LaFleur's a genius. He didn't create an offensive play that's unstoppable. And these guys are so smart on offense, they can't even dictate to their defense how to stop the play. I'm an offensive genius. I should know how to stop, but they can't. So they hate us because they ain't us. And the fact that they have to suffer and deal with the tush push all the way down the field. I love it. I want some more of it. And the chronic play, and it matters a lot. Because again, that's Nick Sirianni's signature. You can ban it when he's no longer the Eagles head coach. When he's no longer the Eagles head coach, strip it out of the league and get rid of it. He can't go and take it somewhere else. He can't take it to another team.
The thing, I agree with you in terms of there's nothing to support what it is. The argument's fugazi. They don't like the play. The NFL doesn't like the play. That's the bottom line. And that's all clear, right? But where I think that it will get banned, because look, they only need 2 more votes. It's not going to be hard for them to get 2 more votes. But most importantly, I think it's just going to be in this roundabout way of, they're not going to ban the tush push. They're not going to ban that play. They're going to ban a play that encompasses what happens on the tush push. Mm-hmm. So that they never have to be blamed for, oh, you banned a play. You couldn't beat it, so you banned it. They're never going to be labeled that. They're going to ban the same rule that they got rid of in 2004, where you can't assist a player down the field. That's what they're going to implement that again. And by and large, what that's going to do is ban the tush push without actually having to be responsible for banning the tush push. And it's an act of cowardice. It's a joke. It's fugazi, like you said. But I'm not going to be naive enough to think that what the NFL wants, the NFL will get in time. We know that. And if you're reading the tea leaves, I mean, that's what Roger Goodell wants.
It's not what Roger Goodell wants. It's what Jerry Jones wants. So I'll tell you.
Okay,
which is wild that he afterwards was like in public. I appreciate Jura like being honest about it and keeping it real. Like, I don't know whether I just don't like the play or I just don't like the Eagles are so good at it.
I love that response.
Yeah, but that shouldn't sway your vote. And the thing that like I felt, and it's been beat to death, we understand. But the thing I felt like nobody was talking about, and one of the arguments I'm sure was made in that hour-long Jeffrey Lurie / Jason Kelce hybrid meeting, the pitch where Jed York was like, how much longer do we have to listen to this? You crybaby Red Cowboys. But one of the things that I think is most important is in this is like, we're playing a dangerous game here. This is a slippery slope. Like when do you stop? Okay, all of you, 32 NFL teams, 31 other NFL teams, hired a head coach believing that guy can get me to the Super Bowl, or at least hoping upon hope that guy can get me to the Super Bowl. When we hired Doug Peterson, we all were like, are we serious right now? Doug Peterson, i.e. the gateway to McNabb, that Doug Peterson is coming in here to coach the team. He's not going to wins the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni, the bumbling, fumbling, the key to winning, you got to be intelligent to know what to do. But that guy won a Super Bowl. So they're all assuming that all these coaches are going to win a Super Bowl, or at least can help them win a Super Bowl. And in order to win a Super Bowl, you have to be innovative. Doug Peterson took the RPO game, which was 30% of their playbook, and by the end of the season, it was 80% of their playbook. Because now granted, the rest of the league caught up to it, but he was being innovative. Nick Sirianni had the tush push. At what point does one of the other NFL teams have a head coach that invents a play that's or a scheme or something that's so innovative that the rest of the league has trouble stopping it, and then all of a sudden, what? Every time one team's good at something, we have to have a meeting or two to see whether or not we can garnish enough votes to ban it?
Well, they're about to do it. They're about to do it to your boy, Howie Roseman. They're about to undercut his knees.
Yeah. And if they can't get him on the tush push, now what they're going to do is start going after the contract. They're playing by the rules, Roger Goodell. By the way, the same guy who figuratively, maybe literally, burned all the evidence to Spygate, which was our Super Bowl. That was supposed to be our first, burned all the evidence, so much so that the Eagles were so scarred about that, they had a fugazi fake practice before the 2018 Super Bowl to kind of throw off the Patriots. Roger Goodell, they were cheating, buried the evidence, yet you're going to come after the like, how do you not take this a little personally?
So I genuinely, the Eagles fan of me genuinely agrees with you, right? Everything you just said, the Eagles fan of me genuinely agrees. The non-biased fan in me, the football fan of me says, well, yeah, I mean, Howie's following the rules. He's bending them. He's bending them. Like, we know he's bending them. And if you're the NFL and you're watching a guy continually bend them, you're probably going to say, okay, cool. Hey, you got away with it because it's in the rules. You're right. You got away with it. We're gonna go ahead and course correct that.
But it's such a
that's not bending the rules. That's working within the law. If the speed limit is 70 miles an hour and I'm doing 69 on cruise control,
well, you're staying well within the rules. To use your example, the speed limit is 70 miles per hour. We all go 75 because we know we ain't getting pulled over. But technically it's 70. I'm not going to pull you over at 75, but you and I both know that's not the intended. The speed limit sign was 70.
When they accuse Howie of tampering, we pay a fine. When he does something he's not supposed to do, he pays a fine. Everything else that he does is in line because he's not paying a fine. It's in the rule book. So when they say they want to close loopholes, that's how America works, bro. Not for nothing. Not a lot of people watch today. I don't pay taxes. You know why I don't pay taxes? I got an LLC. I'm incorporated to myself. I make sure that I make all my money and spend all my money so I don't owe anybody anything at the end of the year. IRS come check me because that's how America works. If you're in a corporate business and you have a tax write-off and you run out money, you don't have to pay taxes. I'm sorry. Y'all be paying taxes. I don't, but I'm following within the rules. But
what happens when it's the big money companies that are not paying those taxes? Is that still cool?
For me, yeah.
Okay, as long because we can't have it like, oh, it's cool for us, but not cool for other people. So I'm saying it's cool for the Eagles.
I'm a business. I'm an entity.
Okay, hey, I'm just making sure.
I'm not a person. I'm an entity.
But I just love it how like that was slipped in. Like we have to readdress and once again go after the Philadelphia Eagles because they're doing it the right way and they're figuring out. For years, I thought I knew how the salary cap worked. I thought I had the basic, if not how intricacies, no, but the kind of the basic premise of it down. And then this year I started hearing a word called cash getting thrown around a lot. Elliott Shore-Parks was saying cash. Well, there's salary cap and then there's cash. It's the first time in my life that I've ever heard about contract negotiations and friggin' cash. And it turns out, like all those people that used to think Jeffrey Lurie was a stingy owner and only cared about, no, he's writing the big checks to then lower our salary cap hit. He's opening up his wallet and paying a lot of people a lot of money so that they're more flexible with the salary cap. All this is doing by the league coming after the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, I don't know how you don't take this personally. Is allowing these billionaire owners who don't pay cash, who are cheap, the small market teams, a la
the Bengals,
the Jacksonville Jaguars. While it was news when Khan pulled up in his mega yacht in the ports of New Orleans when we were playing the Super Bowl. All these guys who don't want to open up their wallets, they kind of level the playing field, and we're doing more for the players. Because we're opening up the wallet more, and you're telling us, no, the billionaires need to have a level playing field because they don't have a guy smart enough to know how to manipulate the salary cap.
And again, manipulate. That's the word, right? And the NFL doesn't like feeling manipulated, whether it's in the rules or not, and whether we agree or not. Again, because I genuinely agree with you. I started my statement off saying, hey, I agree with you.
Yeah,
the Eagles fan of me, I agree with you. Yeah. But the NFL does not want that. They are the top dog. They do not want to be manipulated by one owner, by two owners, doesn't matter. The cash part, you're right. And as much as we love Howie Roseman can't do what Howie Roseman does if it's not for Jeffrey Lurie cutting those checks. So
100%.
For as much praise as Howie gets, and it's deservedly so, I'm a massive Howie supporter. Howie ain't Howie if Jeffrey ain't cutting those checks.
Nope.
But when you get down to like the dummy years and some of the manipulation of the cap that Howie does, I think that's what they're trying to level out. I pray to God they don't do it. We got a good thing going. Howie's built up we got a nice rhythm going here with how he's no pun intended, how he's manipulating the cap. But again, when you do this and you have success, all eyes are on you. It's one thing if you're doing it and it ain't leading to rings. It's another thing if you're doing it and now you got something going. You got the best roster in football and you're starting to win championships, all while paying dudes out the yazoo. So it's just going to get attention, and the league's going to. That's what they're doing. They're paying attention to it.
The NFL is the worst league in sports as far as paying players are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute worst.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there and the player Sean Jackson's a gang member. Oh, Kenny Pickens hates his teammates. He's a bad teammate. Every time you leave, no matter what the organization is, their job is to bash that player so that fans don't lose their minds. Meanwhile, they cut this guy who is a team guy. He's there to sign a contract. I want to be here for 4 years. You cut him 3 years in because you don't want to pay the bonus. You don't want to pay the dummy years. And you leave this guy out in the street looking for a job. The NFL is the worst at that. So, heaven forbid, the thing that, besides Lurie cutting the checks, it's the fact that the organization is pretty much a family when it comes to their bigger name players. Without Lane Johnson restructuring his deal, without Kelsey restructuring his deal, without Cox restructuring his deal, without your big ticket guys wanting to say, hey, you know what? You need this to get that, to help me, to help us, I'll do it. Because a lot of teams won't do it. You look at the Bengals, nobody wants to restructure anything. Joe Burrow's like, pay the wide receivers. I'm not restructuring a damn thing for you. Jalen Hurts would have restructured. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes has been restructuring out the ass. That's how they got to a few Super Bowls in a row. $450 million. How could you pay him all that money? Well, now he's got a 10-year contract. They keep dumping. Everybody's out here getting Bobby Bonilla contracts. Kelsey's out here getting paid $14 million to Jeffrey Lurie. I'm watching Cox out here. He's racing cars on the weekends, risking his life. And I'm like, why would you? Oh, shit, he's still getting paid $10 million. Yeah. So Jeffrey Lurie is cutting the checks, but it also, the team is willing to acquiesce because they know that they're going for something better. And we've only won 2 championships. But my God, you're going to try and dismantle something that you won't do, Jerry. You hold a guy until his last year and then try to pay him and then underpay him. And then everybody else gets paid in the market and you got to overpay a guy. Now you're mad. This has nothing to do with Roger Goodell. This has to do with the Bengals and the Cowboys. The Bengals are cheap. They don't want to pay anybody. The guy doesn't have enough money to pay anybody. Keep doing the escrow. And Jerry's like, how come everybody else can do math but me? And his son's like, Dad, we have a calculator now. Can you put the abacus down? The abacus ain't cutting it no more, Pops. And so he's mad that somebody knows how to do math. The Patriots did it for 20 years.
Yeah.
You had the best quarterback in the league taking $20 million a year. They're still paying him. Stop messing with the Eagles, man. Stop messing with us. Like, let me do my job.
You win a couple rings, and it's amazing. Like, people went after the Patriots because the Patriots were flat out cheating.
Yes.
Like, they were documented. It was flat out cheating. We worked the system. We win a couple rings for the first time since our 1930, you know what I mean? For the Super Bowl, we win a couple rings, and now all of a sudden, like, everyone's after our throats.
Kansas City got a host
How do you not take that person?
Kansas City got a whole host of criminals out there, and ain't nobody trying to shut them down. They're out there speeding and road racing.
Go ahead, Ash.
Look, nobody wants to take direction from the quote unquote the financial nerd. Right? I mean, because Howie's not one of the boys. Howie's not one of the football heads that came. I mean, he is a football head. I'm not saying that. But Howie's not that guy that had that football background. He wasn't a player. He wasn't in the boys club. Remember, he got pushed to the back office, and he was the laughing stock of the league at one point. And now he's come back, and he started showing all these dudes how to do their job.
Yeah.
And they get insecure about it, and they don't like it. And there's no way you're going to tell me how this gets done. There's no way that your way is better than my way. There's a lot of pride, right? There's a lot of alphas. There's a lot of ego involved in professional sports, and they don't want to take direction from a financial guy, from an analytical guy. Not happening.
And that's why I love this team. I love this roster. I love this organization. I love this culture that they built, because everybody on this team, like, I know the word underdog has been played out and everything like that, but tell me another team that isn't more Philadelphia, or another group of collective individuals that isn't more Philadelphia than the ones we have right in front of us. Whether it be Howie Roseman, who collected every letter that he had when he was applying. Hey, just give me a chance. Just let me talk to you. Just bring me in the bed. Can I get an internship? He collected all the no's. He was locked in a closet by Chip Kelly, who was the football guy. And then all of a sudden, now you look at him at this day and age, getting paid again, by the way, is like the GOAT of GMs. Nick Sirianni, who was the introductory press conference that I just touched on, bumbling, stumbling. Everybody thought he was an idiot hire. Even after the flowers and all the goofy bullshit that he did, even after shaving his head, goes and gets his lick back and wins the Super Bowl. Everybody from Jalen Hurts, our boy Jalen Hurts, you know, having all the adversity that he had through his career, now all of a sudden hoisting that Lombardi at the Met Gala, all eyes on Jalen. Like, all of a sudden, Philadelphia starts to get their shine, and you're trying to take away the tush push. You're trying to take away the... Why? Because we took you all to school and won a ring FU trophy.
Embrace it. Embrace it. Think about it. When the Patriots were winning all those Super Bowls, were they like, did America love them? Or did they talk shit on them every chance they got because they couldn't stand the Patriots? When the Yankees are winning all their World Series, was America like, oh, I love the Yankees? Now, the frauds would be. But by and large, it was, screw the Yankees. It was everybody versus the Yankees. Everybody versus the Patriots. Everybody versus whoever the top dog is. You're the top dog.
Uncharted
You're the top dog.
Waters.
We don't know how to handle it right now. So when people are taking aim at us and throwing darts at us.
But how do you not take that personally?
No, take it personally. I get it, but that's okay. That's a compliment. It means they're paying attention to you. They got eyes on you. They want to knock you off your mountain, off your crown, right? So accept that, embrace that. That means you're doing something worthwhile.
Why weren't you at OTAs today, E-Rock?
Because I don't work in media. I got a real 9 to 5. I got a jobby job. Snoop Doggy Dogg got a jobby job.
I expect you to be inside a trash can with binoculars or something spying. I mean, I expect the Ocean's 11 move out of you getting inside the facility. That's what I expect out of you.
Don't dare me.
I mean? Look, you're small but mighty. You
Big
can fit
Dom
in
has snatched me up. You see my little ass coming a mile away. He snatched me up.
That's my point. You can get in small places. I mean, they see me waddling in a mile away. They catch me. They're like, hey, Fat Gritty, come on, man. It's closed out here. Closed. But so OTAs for today, and pretty much everybody showed up, and they look like they're having a good time. Quarterback QB1 was out there. The Mormon Missile was out there. I love OTAs because everybody complains about who doesn't show up. Huff did not show up to OTAs. How you gonna get fired on your day off? Like, if one person, now OTAs quote unquote don't matter, but you got there's a lot of young guys out there, a lot of people who are fighting for new positions or just want to stay in shape in general, just want to connect, want to check in with your guys. Same reason we're here today. You just want to check in with people. For him not to be there is so bad for him personally. I don't care because I know he's got an uphill battle of getting on the field. But the fact that he doesn't care, now he might have something to do. He might have some family going on. Something else might be happening in his life. I don't know. But when you get demoted from your position and you're getting paid that much money, I'd show up for everything. You're not 100%. The quarterback.
100%.
If you want to be a quarterback, they're got the different air about them, whatever. Matter of fact, you're a running back. You don't show up, hey, I'm preserving my legs, coach. I get that. But for you to be demoted and having young guys take your spot, rookies take your time, you got to show up for OTAs, and you got to be on your game, and you got to learn this playbook, and you've got to be better for yourself. It's weird to me that it didn't show up.
So I'm with you, dude. If my job's on the line, like, good luck keeping me out of the building, right? Good luck keeping me on the sideline. I'm trying to get every rep I can to prove to you that last year was an anomaly, that I've learned whatever lesson. Like, I'm a $50-some-odd million man. You guys targeted me as priority number one in free agency. And I came in and I didn't live up to my end of the deal, right? So you better believe that I have every intention to make good on that. However, I do tread lightly only because, you're right, I have no idea what was going on. I have no idea, like, is this something personal? Is there a reason behind it? Maybe Howie and company say, hey, sit this one out because they got something they're working on in the background and don't want him to get tripped up in minicamp. I'm just saying. Yeah. Maybe there's a move that they have.
That's the last thing that would happen.
I'm just saying, maybe there's a move that they have that they can try and dump him off to somebody else and don't want to risk. I don't know that aspect. But again, if it's me, you're right. I'm not missing keep me off the field. My ass, right?
Smith was out there. He's injured. Just out there. Yeah. So he was out there.
Nakobe Dean was out there.
So that's my point.
But he was there.
If I'm even trying to get rid of you, I need you to be here so that people are talking about you being a team guy.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth.
So go ahead.
Because like any decision like that, I always try to look at it from the selfish angle, right? What's in it for me?
Yeah.
Everything should be down to, at the very least, something about what's in it for me. And what's in it for you, Bryce Huff, is the fact that, listen, you don't got to like your teammates. You don't got to like the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't like the way, you got to like the way last year played out, or you not playing the way it played out, whatever it might be. You're not getting cut because it's too big of a salary cap hit. Let's say you want to get traded, right? When these GMs talk to each other, there are situations where, hey, listen, I got this guy. He was one of the hottest free agents last year. We brought him in. He's just not a good scheme fit for Vic, all right? But he's a hard worker. He's a team player. He shows up. He does what we ask him. He's attentive and blah, 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 blah. Would you like to trade for this player? Perhaps he's a better... Like, if you want to be labeled a free agent bust and not a team guy, you might as well commit career suicide right now. Somebody's going to take a chance on you, but they're not going to take what you think you're worth with the bag chance on you because you're not checking the right boxes.
So my retort to that would be, it's not high school and it's not college. Like, the NFL knows who Bryce Huff is. They got tape on Bryce Huff. They're not going to like or dislike Bryce Huff anymore if Howie or Sirianni's on the phone saying, but you know what? He's a really good guy. And he really showed up for us. Like, they know.
When you're trying to woo another team into trading for your ass?
But there's a million other people that they could ask. Of course, Howie and Nick are gonna rave. They're trying to make a trade. So, of course, they're going to say the good things. At the end of the day, they want to know, what does this dude do on tape? Right? What do I see on tape? Does he flash? Does he not flash? There's enough tape he had with the Jets. Not that he made enough plays with the Eagles, but every player in the NFL, every single play, that tape lives on. And all eyes are on you. So I get it, the optics of it. You want him to show up, be a team player. It does matter. I'm not acting like it doesn't. But when push comes to shove, if a GM wants a guy, the league knows who Bryce Huff is. And if a guy wants him to take a chance on him, they know he's not a scheme fit. If they want him, they'll go get him, whether he showed up for OTAs or not.
And some guys are just like that. I mean, look at Nnamdi Asomugha. When he came here, high the gem of free agency, dream team sort of stuff we're talking about here. Just wasn't a good scheme fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just wasn't a good scheme fit. But when his teammates hate his ass, when he's eating lunch in the car, what happened to him after? He fell off a cliff.
It 100% matters. Sanders just got drafted in the fourth round because somebody didn't like his attitude and was talking trash about him. You're at the things you can control, the things you can control. You can show up to your job and do the job. Because again, yes, everybody's going to try and hype you up and sell you. And you think a person doesn't care? They do care about that. And if your talent doesn't exceed the risk, Jalen Carter, he messed up big time in college. The only reason we got him is because he messed up and someone lost their life. And that's big time stuff. But you're such a big time talent. Somebody had to interview him. Somebody had to go down there and look him right in his eyes and believe that he learned from his mistake, believed that he was ready for the opportunity. And for Huff, what you got on tape? I didn't see a whole lot of freaking tape last year, bro.
No, you're 100% right.
Now my tape's a year and a half old. You know what I mean? Hassan Reddick didn't show for OTAs and Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm like, broski. Now you went somewhere where come on, baby. So, I mean, your attitude starts wearing on you and it starts showing people what they are. So I hear what you're saying, but bro, you got to show up. You're making $57 million. You got to show up for OTAs.
The least you can do.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The least you can do.
But
is show up.
Everybody else showed up. Like I said, you said Dean was there. Dean was out there not walking with a limp, so he's talking about coming back.
Jihad
week
was
one.
out there.
Yep. Hey,
neither of them will be ready week one.
So let me ask you this.
He said he's gonna be ready. He said he's gonna be ready.
What'd you think about the drafts? Because we didn't get together and talk about that.
I mean, I always say don't ask me now. Ask me in 3 years, right? But I loved it, and I didn't think I was going to. It was weird for me because I watched it, and I love the Jihad Campbell pick. I totally went off the map in terms of drafting a linebacker first round, but well, okay, damn, that's honestly too good of a player to pass on at 31. If you can get a top 10 guy, a theoretical top 10 guy, understand you got the injury history. Sometimes you got to roll the dice. I did it on Landon Dickerson. Look what happened. But then as you go down the draft, I just started liking the type of player that they were going after. I think there was a lot of versatility in a lot of the players they selected. I like the attitude of a lot of the guys they selected. The Vanilla Gorilla is like my favorite player. just by the nickname alone.
I got to get that made up at the pro shop.
Yeah, I think he'll be fun on that defensive line. But just the attitude guy, like Drew Kendall, right? He's a guy who I look at, and he's not a sexy player. He's not a sexy name. He's not a sexy guy. But he is, if you look at Jason Kelce and the way Jason Kelce plays, and you look at Cam Jurgens and the way that Cam Jurgens plays, they're all identical. They're all identical players. And the two guys I just named have to be pretty good damn players. So I just think like to be able to get a guy like that, maybe you can flash him a guard, maybe not. At the very least, you've got a quality backup center. Makuba will fly around the field. They got him in the second round. We'll see. I honestly think he's going to be a day one starter for him. You don't take a guy in the second round and then not have intention to do so. So just overall, I felt good about the draft, but again, we'll see who these guys are in 3 years and what. I don't think
just because you're a second round pick pencils you in as a day one starter.
I don't think they target depth in the second round per se. I think they got plans for you.
Yeah, they got plans for you, but they also it's a very big question mark. There's going to be an interesting training camp battle at that other safety position.
It doesn't matter if he was drafted pre-first round. It doesn't matter where he was drafted. You have to be able to play.
Oh, no doubt.
Vic, because Vic doesn't give a shit.
No doubt.
They paid White $5 million and sent him down to his cabana camp 2 weeks into the season. Bro was all offseason. He was there for OTAs. He was there for training camp, mini training camp, bicycle training camp. And he was the starter. He was the lead dog. Season starts. Bro, you can't read for real? Okay, cool. Sit down.
Yeah.
So.
No, obviously they
Quinyon Mitchell, he didn't give a shit about anybody on defense. He didn't talk about Slay. He didn't talk about anybody except for White, which is weird because how that turned out. And Quinyon. That's about Quinyon. Hey, boy, that boy. The only time I saw him smile was he talking about Quinyon. Everybody else got a lot of work to do. He's got stuff to got to clean up. Dean's coming along. Everybody. Carter, he's raw. He's got to work on the power. Quinyon was the only. Lo and behold, he goes and he starts. Maddox, Coop got healthy. Boy, you ain't never seen the field again. You know what I'm saying? So if you can play, that's what I said. The Sidney Brown, the Kelly Ringo, like the guys that have been in the system, this is their third year, they know what's up. You should be far above it head. But if this kid is who they proclaim that he's going to be, which, yeah, you didn't ask me the question. This is the best draft we've had in forever and ever and ever, top to bottom. Because I have a defensive coordinator that I love, and he got what he wanted. Howie Roseman ain't picking a linebacker in the first round. Howie don't do that. Howie does not do that. Vic's like, hey, the kid's still there. Go get him. Howie's like, gotcha, sir. You know what? You know what? We got rid of the other side. I need this safety. Gotcha, sir. I'm looking at all these defensive players, and I'm like, he was handpicked by Vic Fangio for his style defense when I know that it's going to work for the system. Like you said, the attitude of the guys. When you start hearing their demeanor, you start seeing how they play. And I'm like, look at how Cooper worked out. Look at how Quinn. Everybody was hating on Quinyon Mitchell. You know, Toledo, it was a small school. He doesn't. What are they doing over there? You get this guy. You didn't get Kool-Aid and Ice Cube and Ice Tray from Alabama. Why didn't we get the cool guys? Because Quinyon's a silent assassin. And my my defense coordinator, knew what he wanted, he got it. So he went out there and put out this shopping list, and they got what they wanted. I'm so excited. We stashed dudes. We got offensive linemen that's like 19 years old and 6'12". That's just a future Lane Johnson replacement. Like, stash and grab. That kid shouldn't even have came out of college.
Texas kid?
Yeah, he should have stayed in school, but thank God he's here. He's going to go to the real school now. He's going to the university that matters. It's a great draft. But, yeah, I'm excited about this.
I don't know enough about college football or the draft prospects to really kind of give an expertise grade on
None
this.
of us do.
But what I will add in talking to people, it was Jihad Campbell the entire time. As no.
I just don't buy it.
No, it was Jihad Campbell the entire time. People assumed, when they were out there talking about, you saw the phone calls. We were trying to go up.
He tried to trade with everybody.
Tried to trade. They had something in place with the Chargers. It fell through at the last minute. It was Jihad Campbell the entire time.
So then let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because if it was Jihad Campbell the entire time, then Howie misread the board ridiculously. He fell to him. You didn't need to trade all the way up.
Thank God they didn't, because there was a package of picks. Thank God we didn't have to call.
That's what I'm saying, though. So if it was Jihad the entire time, then dude, where Howie usually always has his finger on the pulse of the board, who's going where?
Yeah.
If that's the truth, he completely misread it.
Well, that can also be the time frame of you never know until it happens.
Sure,
right?
Like it's the same thing with like the Eagles are about to take Sanders. The Eagles about to take him. And the league was like, hey, can't have him go to the QB factory. Yeah. Somebody jump up in front of these dudes. No. Yeah. And you can tell because their next pick after that, then they went and got a quarterback. Because they're like, look, we'll just get a guy. But if y'all ain't going to take him now, I'll take him for free because I sell jerseys out here. Howie was like, if nothing else, I'm going to sell. Come on, baby. So now you're looking at it with how that works out. So sometimes it does just work out to your favor when, misreading it because – you mean to tell me you're that dumb? Because the consensus by everybody afterwards was like, how did he get that far? And when the Eagles took him, you're like, well, we thought he was going to get a second round. We were going to get him. Because, again, people think to themselves, well, he's injured. They're not going to get him. Mm-hmm. I got a high pick in the second round. I'll take him as my second round pick, second or third. And you lost the guy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, I guess, Kansas City was probably going to take him. Or somebody else was trying to trade with Kansas City to get him. Because why did you jump up to take Kansas City's spot? If that wasn't the case, somebody else was on the phone.
Well, Kansas City and the Eagles and Kansas City traded. Yeah. So Kansas City didn't want him.
Well, somebody else was on the phone to Kansas City. Like,
is that right?
Yeah.
That's the only way it makes sense. Somebody else is like, we're going to go get him.
This is how this part works, right? So people, and we did it with Carter, right? We jumped up one spot.
Yeah.
You're the Kansas City Chiefs. You have a guy in mind, right? And somebody is offering you compensation to jump up. But that requires you moving 8 picks back. And your guy isn't going to be there 8 picks. Mm-hmm. So when Philadelphia calls and says, hey, would you want to move? This is the offer that we have on the table. We're scared. Kansas City speaking now. We're afraid that if we accept this trade, our guy isn't going to be, well, who's your guy? Well, who's your guy? Well, who's your guy? Well, offense or defense? Defense. Okay, then it's not our guy. So give us just some bullshit and we'll swap picks with you. And that way we know we're getting something in return and we're still getting our guy. We don't have to risk it, because that is how the Eagles ended up with Marcus Smith, was moving back. Well, we got a list of 5 players we like. Okay, we got a list of 4 players we like. Okay, we can move back 5 more spots, and there's 3, and then everyone started jumping, leapfrogging ahead of them.
That's how the Chiefs did it to the Bills. They went and got that speed wide receiver. And everyone's like, how did you let the Chiefs trade with you to get him? Like, don't give them what they need. Yeah. Everybody's pissed off because, again, you play that little game like, oh, what do you get? I'm going for a defensive guy. Oh, sure, I'll trade with you. Ha, 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 ha. Like, so it is a hard game to play, and you're right. He probably did misread it, but sometimes you got to get that luck of the draw.
You get lucky once in a while.
And they were trying to do everything they could to get up and get him. Yeah. They were trying everything.
Nobody's taking his calls anymore. No, you see Howie Roseman calling, you're like, come on, bro.
Well, there's also, you saw that little clip where like Howie was like, why isn't anybody, like, nobody wants to play with me, and then looked at the Falcons and went, holy shit.
That's why.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh, never mind.
I just find it, and it very well could have been Campbell the entire time. And maybe it was. But I don't think that somebody's going to say, yeah, that wasn't the guy we originally wanted. Well, like nobody's going to say we really wanted Malachi Starks or we really wanted.
That's what I thought. I had to ask the question. I was like, was it really? And then I got some background info on it, and yes, it was.
Oh, hey, good for them.
Campbell and Makuba were there at OTAs, but they have not signed yet.
Yeah, the 2 guys that haven't signed, correct.
What? I totally forgot about that.
They have not signed yet. I'm trying to, get on that dotted line.
I can't figure out why. I understand maybe why Makuba hasn't signed. Or no, I'm sorry. I understand why Jihad may have not signed, but I can't understand why Makuba wouldn't have signed. Campbell's got some injury stuff they got to work out, but that's a slot. Yeah, right? You're getting paid.
You're first round.
Yeah, but what your agent is trying to do is saying if it wasn't for the injury, he would have been paid. He would have been selected in the top 15.
Sure,
there's the rub.
Yeah,
he's a top 15 talent that because of injury. So let's meet somewhere in the middle. I know we want to slot play this year, but that's sometimes. I'm not saying.
But then talk about pissing the NFL off again.
I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying sometimes there's a little bit of negotiation when a guy who was supposed to be drafted higher and feels they were entitled to draft higher, and if you don't have any concerns about the injury, you would have. So you're saying you would have taken my client there at 10 or 12 or 15. You ended up getting him at a bargain at 31. You know he's worth more than that. So sometimes there's a little bit of a back and forth.
Absolutely, but at this point, like, let's get the deal done. Yeah, I don't want that hanging. Not for my first round pick. Not for my second round pick. Yeah, right. Let's get the deal done. Get him into camp. Let's get to work.
No, absolutely.
Speaking of getting to work, so is there a group that you guys are looking at? Because obviously a lot of change, right? New faces in, some old familiar faces out. Is there, and it doesn't have to be on offense, but is there a position group that you guys are looking at right now saying, okay, I'm really curious how that's going to play out, that we feel that's going to be the linchpin to whether they're able to go on a run, whether they're able to sustain the level of success, because there's a handful of positions that they have legitimate question marks at.
Right.
Is there one battle or one position that you're looking at saying that's the most important?
Most important? I mean,
most important to you.
The only one that I have a question mark about is cornerback.
That's the only question mark
you have? That's the only question mark you have?
Yeah.
What about right guard?
What about it?
Is that a question mark? No? You're just trusting Stout.
I got 90% of my offensive line back. If one guy has to fill in, I got 4 other guys. If you're not working, somebody else plug and play. If one thing they have been able to do is plug and play one guy. If it was 2 guys, I'd be like,
is that a rat?
Did you see
Was that a rat? Bro, I thought I saw a rat.
Oh, you guys haven't been here since Rat Fest, have you? This place is infested with mice.
Bro. Out of the corner of my eye.
There's mice everywhere.
I saw it. I didn't want to see it. And then I didn't want to say anything because I'm looking at Gritty going, is that a friggin' rat? And then he zagged.
The good news is, guys, it's mice. It's not rats. So makes it a little better. But the bad news is it is mice. They do exist here. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you name them yet? Did you name like Jerry Jones and like,
I'm just trying to stay away. honestly.
That guy was hustling. I think he was going for the candy out there. I'm sorry.
Why do you think we have it in big bins now? We had to put everything in the bins.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you're not worried about the guard spot, plug and play.
Yeah, plug and play.
Okay.
I'm not worried about
Trusting Stout.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is cornerback position. Okay. Whether you're going to bring the best slot corner out and make him a real cornerback. You want some white cornerbacks? I'm trying to see how that really works out.
He was playing a little outside today, wasn't he?
I think that's just me.
Yeah.
He was, but I think that's just me.
And again, we don't know how the rookies are going to shape up or who. Like I said, we have. That's the one thing that has a question mark. Somebody asked me, "Are you worried about the edge and the D line?" I'm like, "No, I have Carter for that. Carter makes everything work. Mm-hmm. He takes on triple teams. If you other three guys can't get off, then what are you doing here in the NFL? I don't know how to help you. I don't care if they're rookies. I don't care if they're on the street. You have a beast there that's doing all this work. So I'm not worried about the line. The safeties, I got Blankenship back there. Makuba, I'm just saying, they talk about Makuba how it's supposed to be. I got Brown. I got Ringo. I got so many different things I can plug in. I got a veteran back there that I can swap in, plug and play if they don't work out. So really it's just the cornerback position because Quinyon, that whole side of the field is bye-bye time. So somebody else is going to get picked on like Darius was all last year. Like that's just how it's going to go. So that's the one I have concern about because much as I gave Slay crap, you know what I mean? Mid-play, back to big play. Him being gone leaves a void there. So that's the one thing I don't know what's going on. The offense, you lose one lineman. Everything else is the same. Running back, Shipley, you know what I mean? Everybody's excited about Shipley. We got Dylan. The offense is great. We kept Goddard. Like, other than worried about the offense coordinator, on defense, what else can you – we got 92 linebackers. Baun's back. Linebackers are good. Like –
yeah, but it's also like it's not the interior defensive line. Like, okay, Milton Williams, I think, got his bag. Clint Hurt helped coach him up. It's very much akin to the Hargrave, like, okay, you exited and got your bag. And is Hargrave even on the 49ers anymore?
No, he got cut. He's with the Vikings now.
Yeah, so Milton Williams is going to be the next Javon Hargrave, right? The defensive end positions got me a little bit worried. Okay, you got Nolan. Okay, you lost Brandon Graham, retired, as he should have. Jalyx Hunt, young kid. Okay, you lost Josh Sweat. But are we really going into the season with Jahad Campbell, who's not going to be ready to week one, according to the Insider of the Year over here? All right. Josh Huff is garbage.
Well, Bryce Huff. Josh Huff is still over the bridge with a gun.
Fair.
Sorry. That came out. That was too soon.
Bryce Huff, Vic Fangio doghouse. Okay. Yeah. So now
Ujulare, Uche, couple free agents.
Okay. My biggest bust. And the same thing goes with the safety position. I know you got Sidney Brown. I like Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown can kind of like, get a little wild sometimes. The Rook. I'm trying to avoid a situation where it's like this guy shutting down one side of the field, Quinyon, and then just a bunch of guys.
That's what I'm saying. That's why that's what's got me worried.
Yeah.
Because you also have Reed over there too.
And a bunch of guys.
Because Reed's over on the side with Q.
Nolan and a bunch of guys.
Yeah, so the line, I swear to God, the line doesn't matter. Jalen Carter in his second year was Reggie Light. He was moving mountains. Like Josh Sweat talking about, I should have been the MVP. The ego and the audacity to speak that when that man was getting double and triple teams, so you were getting one-on-one opportunities. And good for you, you beat your man. Good for you, you beat your man. But you beat him one-on-one because this guy's taking on 2 and 3.
Fair.
You were meeting at the summit. Jalyx Hunt, yeah, it's a rookie. You wild Jalyx Hunt. Jalyx Hunt gets the hunt because of the beast that's on the end. And then you got your white gorilla dude. I mean, I don't know. I saw some clip. He looked like an angry mountain too. Stick him in there, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, the defensive line, I'm not worried about. When we had Fletcher Cox in his prime, it was unbearable for people. And everyone around him ate. And then when you saw a lot of people fall off and he got a little older, you start saying, well, what happened to him? He's getting double and triple teamed, and he's also now 8 years in the league. Like, he's starting to age a little bit, and he's still commanding double teams on every play. I'm sorry he's not breaking through the double teams anymore. I apologize for that. But he's still letting you have one-on-ones.
Yeah.
So go work.
Yeah.
So Carter taking 3, Oh, so excited.
Training camp's going to be interesting because I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of these position battles because I feel like for the first time, like last year, the defense in training camp, like it seemingly was all position battles, right? It was like nobody was even thinking about Zack Baun until he turned up. Nakobe Dean, can he stay healthy? All that. What can the rookies bring? And again, I think we're squared away on offense. It's going to be. I can't wait. I can't wait for training camp and all the daily reports that come out to go down there to NovaCare Complex. That's when I will be at NovaCare Complex to go to the open practice and kind of see how. All right, who's starting to stand out? Who's gonna be our white guy that we expected a lot of? Not happening. Who's gonna be our Bryce Huff? Big free agent, not getting a lot out of him. Reports out of training camp. And who's gonna be our Zack Baun? Who's gonna be, even though Cooper didn't have the training camp because he was injured, but like who's gonna be that guy that steps up?
Are you asking that as a question? Because I said answer that question. I think it's a great question. If we're sitting here now, who are we not paying attention to that we should be? Right? You just said who's Zack Baun? Who's the 2025 Zack Baun? And I'm not saying we have to know, just spit it out, but think on that. Because there's probably a handful of names that you could banty about that.
I hope. I pray.
Okay.
It's Sidney Brown.
Yeah.
Because that'll check a big box. Especially if he he got a lot of playing time as a rookie. Injury, obviously. Vic was playing McCollum a little bit more than Sidney Brown. And like to kind of piggyback off of what you said, Vic don't give a shit. Vic's got his guys, and if you're not one of his guys, you're sitting. Period. So I'm going to be. I hope it's Sidney Brown, and I hope Jalyx Hunt makes a big leap this year.
Sidney Brown, the thing that I love about him the most is the thing that's going to be his downfall. He hits people. He hits people. Like he is trying to explode on every single tackle, which makes him miss a couple tackles. That's fine. That happens. But he's always getting nicked up and injured because of the way he goes after it. So I expect him to like pop and show because he looks good in coverage. He looks like he knows where he's supposed to be. He doesn't get beat a lot. Super Bowl, that was everybody's partying in the USA at that point. I'm not blaming anybody. Champagne was already popped. Gatorade was already splashed. And you expect me to stop a touchdown? I don't care about this game no more. We have 92-0, okay? So I'll let that slide when the backups get in there in the Super Bowl. But he's a hitter. So I would hope it would be him because we love that here in Philadelphia. We miss that in that position. And it would be nice to watch people get their bobbles knocked around with a guy like that. So I'm hoping that it's Brown.
For the reasons that you talked about Jalen Carter and, okay, Josh Sweat thinks he's the MVP, but the real deal is inside with Jalen Carter. For that reason, I'll play off of that. And I think it's a guy like Ojulari. Because when he's healthy, Ojulari is a difference maker. At least he had been when healthy. Now, he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's his problem. And we've all seen this. Guys bet on themselves. Magically, they have that healthy season. They put it all together, then they go get the bag. I don't think that he'd be a guy that would get the bag in Philadelphia, but on a one-year deal, and I could just as easily say Uche, but for whatever reason, I feel like from a production standpoint, a health standpoint, I think he has every ability, if he can stay healthy for 15, 16, 17 games, to put up some solid numbers to where we're looking at it saying, yeah, there's a reason we let Josh Sweat go. Look at the production we're getting on the outside now. So I'm not saying I hope it's him. We need that production. I don't care who we get it from. But if I had to pick a guy that I'm saying we're not really paying attention to right now, but could actually show up in a really meaningful way for the Eagles, I'd probably pin one of the edges.
Why don't we like Jordan Davis?
No, I like Jordan Davis. I don't want to say I don't like Jordan Davis. I think Jordan Davis is who we think he is. And he's not going to be a guy who is going to get you 6-7 sacks a year. He's a tremendous run stopper. He's going to take up space on the line. He's just a beef eater, but I don't think that he's ever going to live up to whatever draft hype we crowned him. He was probably overdrafted.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think that's why.
It's the Mike Mamula curse.
Yeah.
Mike Mamula was a decent player. He was overdrafted. That's the problem.
If he got drafted in the third round, nobody would have said nothing.
Him.
We would still look upon him fondly, but like the old heads still look at, Mike Mamula as the draft wonder who got it wasn't his fault that he got overdrafted.
And I get why you drafted Jordan Davis where you drafted him. He's a big ass dude. He made all the dude. He makes Jalen Carter look like a little brother. You know what I mean? So I get why they did it. But at the end of the day, if he can put it together, phenomenal. And that's probably, of all the things we're talking about, that would probably be the most impactful. If you could have Jordan Davis find the green light and pair him up with Jalen Carter and the two of them get after the quarterback, that would be the most impactful. So if you want a hope and a prayer, that's probably where I'd lean as a hope and a prayer. I just don't see it. I like the player.
Ty Robinson already took his job. So
can I give you another one? Can I give you another one? Because we're talking about starters.
Yeah.
And we're talking about defensive players.
Maybe we're talking about starters.
Maybe.
I mean,
we're talking guys that we would want to see step up in order to become a significant starter.
Yeah, like a Zack Baun. You got him, man.
Like
we'll see who he is.
Zack Baun. I'll give you one that's maybe a little underrated on offense and is not a starter and is going to be a backup. And that's A.J. Dillon. Because we just heard on the exciting... By the way, is the exciting mics getting taped here? It is getting taped here. Okay.
When does that get taped? I might have to fly by.
It's a random day. It's not a consistency.
It's also it's top secret.
Oh, top secret.
Yeah.
Because I got the Coops on, the pick six. That's from the Super Bowl. Those are the Coop pick sixes.
But you heard Saquon Barkley on that podcast say that, like, hey, listen, I got to be a little bit more conscious about my body. I just started working out. I have to be more conscious about the wear and tear on my body. And when Saquon would go out, insert Kenny Gainwell, completely different running back, completely different skill set, a decent backup running back. I'm not knocking Kenny Gainwell at all, but the defense knew that they were not planning for a Saquon Barkley-like attack coming from Kenny Gainwell. Insert A.J. Dillon, who's kind of cut from the same cloth, who can be Saquon light, who, if he can spell Saquon a little bit and save a little bit in the chamber and keep those legs a little bit fresher, because you saw them quads look exactly like Saquon. We got the biggest quads in the league right now between, you put Saquon Barkley, A.J. Dillon, and Jalen Hurts, we are all quadded up. But if he can be like the backup, same cut from the same cloth as it, now he's been injured, hasn't played football in a year, low risk, high reward. But if he can contribute as a backup running back as Saquon light and take some of that load off of Saquon, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Why are you grinning over there?
Because you know why I'm grinning.
Because you're about to house me on something.
I'm laughing at you because...
Yeah, I know.
Are we in overtime yet?
Nope.
1 minute?
1 minute.
So the backup running back is Will Shipley. Will Shipley is backup running back. Dillon's going to have to fight to even get half the snaps that Shipley's going to get.
Think so?
He had his bling, 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 got caught from behind moment, that explosive run. They gave him his touchdown. He's young. He's hungry. And guess what? Dillon is coming off injury and not playing for a year. They're not going to have to – when Saquon would spell himself, basically, like when he'd come out, he'd take himself out for breathing a lot. Everybody's like, oh, he didn't get these touchdowns. If you watch the game, sometimes he's taking himself out because, I just ran 68 yards, bro. I don't have time to bang my head in here for a 3-yard run. Get Kenny here or Tush Push. I don't care.
Yeah.
The young legs are going to help him out. The young legs are going to spell him. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield. He's more spry, more agile. It's a different, like you said, Dillon's the same kind of style.
Yeah, same kind of build.
The change of pace will help them out.
Yeah.
The change of pace, Shipley's got the backup job. I feel like Shipley's going to get the job. So you'll owe me $1 if I'm right. I'll owe you nothing if you're right.
I'm not saying like he's going to be second on the depth chart. I'm just saying he can be a bigger contributor than it was Saquon, Kenny, and Shipley. Shipley barely touched the ball.
Overtime. If you're watching this show, make sure you go for overtime. And we're going to keep on rolling while I yell at you about you being right but being wrong at the same time. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
You make a lot of sense. But I'm just thinking we spell because he like I said, he didn't play last year. When you got quads that big, boy, they get tight. They get tight.
It was a neck issue he had.
Neck issue,
right? Is that what it was for him?
Yeah.
And I mean, so he's one play away from being irrelevant. I like him. I loved him in Boston College.
Golly.
But he is, though. No, but he is. I don't mean irrelevant. I just mean like no longer playing NFL football. Jesus. I loved him. He was Boston College, I believe.
Yeah.
I liked him in college. I wanted the Birds to give him a look then. So, I'm happy that he's in Philadelphia. But neck injuries are no joke, man.
We were talking defense. I had to switch it.
No, that's a good switch.
Look, it's a great switch. And you might be right, and I might be wrong.
Well, what about you want to stay on offense? Let's stay on offense. You want to stay on running backs? Let's stay on running backs. What happens when Van Sumeren becomes your starting fullback? What happens when they start running a power I? Because they tried doing it before he got hurt. They tried putting him in the backfield as a fullback, and then he got hurt, and then they had to switch it back. What happens if we can no longer – well, we can tush push. So let's just say the innovator wants to go more of a standard power I. We got a fullback, a tailback, bringing it back to the early 90s, and Sumeren is that fullback.
I never look over an opportunity to laugh at you.
Sure, go for it.
But Tyler, you being so disrespectful and giggling when he said fullback. Did you not hear Jeffrey Lurie in the interview saying
we're bringing it back
to Richie? You're gonna be excited, Richie. We're done fullbacks again, John Richie. We're doing them again, John Richie. And John started crying. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, it's gonna power I. We're gonna go wing T.
Absolutely.
Rambling down the Washington Wigwam.
Here goes the forward pass.
Here comes power track. Yeah. Keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
Hey, look. I saw highlight
27-minute drives.
Yeah, right. Hey, I saw highlight reel All-Star the other day, and I almost cried. I'm like, man, that was football. Like I said, like it cracks me up so much. You're like, Tush Push isn't football. I'm like, did you not watch the highlight reels? Well, y'all so scared of these mice?
No, I keep seeing them scurry.
What's going on? I gotta get y'all a cat. You know what I mean? y'all need some help out here. But I just watched the highlight reel All-Star, and I was like, man, I could use a taste of that. I thought about it. I was like, hey,
that's a fullback's fullback.
Since we're on overtime, Jeffrey Lurie went down there and put his balls on the table and said, yo.
Y'all ready to go catch some mice?
I don't want to hear nothing.
Y'all ready to do it?
Yeah.
Y'all ready to wrap this thing up and go mice hunting?
Get mice.
All right.
They're just mice.
Guys, it has been so great to sit down with you guys once again.
Don't
lie. It has been. I needed this. It's been since the Super Bowl, since we all were kind of tearing up, sitting there in the couches in the other studio. And to come back and start talking about Eagles football again is good for the soul.
Are you gonna? So last year, when we started our show back up again, all the talk was.
Well, we started it last year.
Yeah. No, I'm saying Justin General was talking about, because the year before that, everyone was talking about the collapse. And the beginning of the season was, well, you collapsed, the collapse. Yeah. We had to go through like 6 weeks before that kind of went away.
Right.
When are you going to cut off the Super Bowl for this year? Get right, because I feel like we're in a Super Bowl window where every year Super Bowl bust. Like, I don't even care. When Jalen said, I'm worried about it this year, I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
So are you asking me when I'm going to stop talking about it and gloating about it, or when? What are you asking me?
I'm asking you when you kind of put that away in expectation for this year's Super Bowl run. Like, is it after banner night? Is it like?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, because you're the champion all year, so
you're defending champ all year.
Okay. Well, no, okay, that's a different question. Then I misinterpreted your question. Yes, you put that away after the banner, but in terms of, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately with the changeover and a lot of questions that we were even asking, like what is the expectation for this season, right? So my expectations don't change, right? I'm putting away 2024, 2025 season, championship, week 1, drop the banner, raise whatever you want to call it, boom, done. Now I'm focused on 2025, 2026. And the expectation, I'm sorry, is to run it back, right? You don't run, you're not a successful organization, and you don't achieve things that other teams don't achieve if you don't set those expectations on yourself. The New England Patriots didn't go into the next year saying, well, if we just make the playoffs, it's a successful season, right? Good football teams don't do that. The expectation is the expectation. The rest is up to you. So for me, it's championship or bust.
100%. I expect them, and I think they have, right? A lot of time we take a look at Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, and what they see is kind of like that coach speak thing. At this point, they've earned the benefit of the doubt, have they not? Because even the messaging where sometimes, it is coach speak, and it's a little hokey. They've walked the walk as they've talked the talk, right? So when Nick Sirianni's like, how long you enjoyed it? Well, I turned the page. As soon as it was over, I mean, we got a ring ceremony to go to, but like it's over. We're focused on this. I'm back to work. So I expect all of them just like you saw in those mic'd up Super Bowl moments where like keep it here, keep it here, keep it here.
Yep.
A lot of those guys are going to repeat turn the page and move forward. If you're asking me, when do I stop talking shit? Oh, no. That doesn't happen until we are eliminated from the playoffs or we are not reigning Super Bowl champion again. Because in my show topic list in my note app, which we did not get to, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to gloss right over this. Pro Football Focus has Jalen Hurts ranked as the 5th best quarterback. And then as I was sitting here looking over what topic I think maybe we should pivot to, I thought to myself, lists are for peasants. Lists are for when you're the world champion, that's shit we concerned ourselves with when we weren't at the top. I am going to keep my nose up and thumb my nose at the rest of the league and the rest of the NFL and all the fan bases. I am going to troll and make videos and make memes until the Philadelphia Eagles give me a reason to shut the hell up. But until that day happens, I'm going to be an asshole. Plain and simple.
PHLYChiefseats.com. Check us out. Follow us on the internet and the Twitters and the socials. And say goodbye to people.
Everybody, we thank you for tuning in and indulging us as we kind of recap some of the offseason. And we look forward to get back in the studio with you once again.
It's our mini camp.
It's our mini camp. Like these are our OTAs.
Voluntary mini camp.
It was voluntary.
Yeah.
I showed up damn near late. There's mice running around.
But you showed up.
We showed up.
You showed up.
Showed up.
It's half the battle.
Bryce
I'm
Huff.
just saying it's half the battle here.
I'm just saying. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Go Birds.
We all silly like the mayor.